What if everything you've ever been told about fitting in was wrong? What if the very thing society tells you to hide is actually your greatest strength? Tonight, we're diving into a powerful, emotional, and deeply personal story from the world of British television. One that's not just making headlines, but changing conversations. When Bradley Riches, star of Emmerdale, stepped forward with a simple yet profound message. You aren't broken, you are you. He didn't just speak for himself. He spoke for millions. And what followed wasn't just another celebrity interview. It was a moment that stopped people in their tracks, sparked emotional reactions across social media, and reignited an important conversation about autism, identity, and representation in the public eye. So what exactly did Bradley say? Why is this message resonating so deeply right now? And how could this moment change the entertainment industry forever? Let's get into it. Introduction. Over the past few days, the entertainment world has been buzzing with conversations surrounding Bradley Riches and his heartfelt reflections on living with autism spectrum disorder in the spotlight. Best known for his roles in major British television productions, Bradley has steadily built a reputation as not just a talented performer, but also a powerful voice for inclusivity and authenticity. But now, his latest statement has elevated him from rising star to something even bigger. A symbol of self-acceptance in an industry often criticized for its rigid expectations. This isn't just another celebrity soundbite. It's a statement that's hitting home for audiences around the world. And in a time where representation, mental health, and identity are more important than ever, Bradley's words couldn't have come at a more crucial moment. Background context. To understand why this moment matters so much, we need to take a step back and look at Bradley Riches' journey. For many viewers, Bradley first gained widespread recognition through his acting roles, showcasing a natural talent that immediately set him apart. But behind the scenes, his story is one of resilience, self-discovery, and navigating a world that often doesn't fully understand neurodiversity. Being diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder means experiencing the world differently, sometimes in ways that are misunderstood or even stigmatized. For actors, whose careers often depend on social interaction, emotional expression, and public perception, this can present unique challenges. And yet, Bradley didn't let those challenges define his limits. Instead, he turned them into part of his identity, something to embrace rather than hide. His involvement in Emmerdale marked another significant step in his career. The long-running series, known for tackling real-life issues with emotional depth, has provided a platform for Bradley to not only showcase his acting abilities, but also contribute to meaningful storytelling. But what makes Bradley's journey especially compelling is his openness. In an industry where many still feel pressured to conform, Bradley has chosen honesty, even when it's difficult. Main news details. In a recent interview that quickly went viral, Bradley Riches shared a message that has since become the centerpiece of headlines across entertainment media. You aren't broken, you are you. At first glance, it's a simple sentence. But when you hear Bradley explain what it means, when you understand the years of struggle, misunderstanding, and self-acceptance behind those words, it becomes something much more powerful. Bradley spoke candidly about growing up feeling different, about the pressure to mask his behaviors, and about the emotional toll of trying to fit into expectations that didn't reflect who he truly was. He described how, for a long time, he felt like he had to change himself to be accepted, whether that meant adjusting how he communicated, how he reacted, or even how he expressed emotion. But over time, something shifted. Instead of seeing his autism as something to overcome, Bradley began to see it as part of his identity, something that shaped his perspective, his creativity, and even his approach to acting. And that shift in mindset didn't just change his personal life, it transformed his career. He spoke about how embracing his authentic self allowed him to connect more deeply with his roles, bringing a level of honesty and nuance that audiences could feel. But perhaps the most emotional part of the interview came when Bradley addressed the public directly. He talked about the messages he receives from fans, many of whom share their own experiences with autism or feeling different. And it's here that his voice became more than just personal. It became universal. Bradley emphasized that being different isn't a flaw. It's not something that needs to be fixed. Instead, it's something to be understood, respected, and celebrated. His message wasn't about ignoring challenges. It was about redefining them. And in doing so, he sparked a conversation that goes far beyond entertainment. Public and media reactions. It didn't take long for Bradley's words to ripple across social media. Within hours of the interview being shared, clips and quotes began circulating on platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Fans praised his honesty, calling his message powerful, healing, and exactly what people needed to hear. Many viewers shared their own stories, creating a wave of personal testimonies that turned a single interview into a global conversation. Parents of children with autism expressed gratitude, saying Bradley's words helped them better understand their children's experiences. Young fans described feeling seen and validated, some for the first time. Even fellow actors and public figures joined the conversation, applauding Bradley for using his platform to raise awareness and promote acceptance. Media outlets quickly picked up the story, with headlines highlighting both the emotional impact of his message and its broader cultural significance. Critics noted that while discussions around autism have become more common in recent years, voices like Bradley's bring a unique authenticity, because they come from lived experience. And perhaps most importantly, the conversation didn't fade after a day or two. It continued to grow, evolving into a larger discussion about representation in television and the importance of diverse voices in storytelling. Analysis / what this means. So why does this moment matter so much? Because it challenges long-standing narratives, not just in entertainment, but in society as a whole. For years, autism has often been portrayed through a limited lens in media, sometimes stereotyped, sometimes misunderstood. But voices like Bradley Riches are helping to change that. By speaking openly about his experiences, Bradley is not only breaking down misconceptions, he's also reshaping how audiences understand neurodiversity. And that has real impact. Representation matters. When audiences see authentic portrayals of different experiences, it fosters empathy, understanding, and acceptance. It also opens doors for others in the industry, actors, writers, and creators who may have previously felt excluded or overlooked. Bradley's message also speaks to a broader cultural shift. In recent years, there's been a growing emphasis on authenticity, on embracing individuality rather than conforming to rigid standards. And Bradley's story fits perfectly into that narrative. He's not just saying, be yourself. He's showing what that looks like, even in an industry that hasn't always made it easy. And that's what makes his voice so powerful. Future possibilities. Looking ahead, the impact of this moment could extend far beyond a single interview. For Bradley Riches, it could mark the beginning of a new chapter, one where his influence goes beyond acting into advocacy and public speaking. We may see him take on more roles that highlight neurodiverse experiences, or even become involved in projects aimed at increasing representation in media. For Emmerdale, this conversation could influence future storylines, encouraging deeper and more nuanced portrayals of characters with diverse experiences. And for the industry as a whole, moments like this can serve as a catalyst for change. Casting decisions, storytelling approaches, and audience expectations are all evolving, and voices like Bradley's are helping to shape that evolution. But perhaps the most exciting possibility lies with the audience. Because when conversations like this gain momentum, they don't just stay in the entertainment world. They move into everyday life. They influence how people see themselves, how they understand others, and how they engage with the world around them. And that's where real change happens. Conclusion. At its core, this story isn't just about a celebrity interview. It's about identity. It's about acceptance. And it's about the power of being unapologetically yourself. Bradley Riches didn't just share his story. He gave a voice to countless others who have felt misunderstood or out of place. And with one simple yet powerful message, you aren't broken, you are you, he's reminded us all of something important. That difference isn't something to hide. It's something to embrace.